So, right, Nebraska, Cincinnati playing tomorrow Thursday night, and I wanted to show this. So I'm looking at this game, and I'm looking at a team like Nebraska. For Cincinnati, this is for them. I'm not looking at them to have really a big year, but I'm looking at especially the Big 12 that's really wide open. Honestly, um, I'm looking at Nebraska, the team. I think this is a game where they go assert their dominance. They got Dana Holgerson, who's been fired from Houston to be the offensive coordinator. The offense can get right now. Somebody who knows what he's looking at offensively, knows what to call offensively. He's going to get the most out of Raiola. I This quote speaks volumes about Raiola, the level of player he is. This guy's a Heisman level quarterback, and those are the guys that can win you national championships. So whether they do that or not, it depends on how fast he can get his roster up to speed around Raiola. They only have 2 more years of him. But I want to talk about the roster. So let's looking at Nebraska. A lot of people aren't as high as them. They definitely not talked about as much as they should be. I think this is a team that could easily be in the playoffs. If not, should. I don't have the schedule right in front of me, but this is a team that should be in the playoffs. This is the year for them to go capitalize. Matt Rule is again same coach that had Baylor competing with Jalen Hurts for Big 12 championships. He had Waco turned up. It was really rocking down there, and then he left, and they kind of fell back down. And this guy knows how to win at the end of the day. If you can coach in the Big 12, you really can coach anywhere. People don't understand how good the best coaches are in the Big 12. And the Big 12 is the best coaching staffs, but he's doing the same thing at Nebraska. And I don't think he ever had a quarter. I can almost guarantee he never had a quarterback of Raiola's level at any point in his career. Definitely not at Baylor. So I think having that and then having a Dane Key from Kentucky, I think he's honestly better than Barron Brown. I think he's a true NFL receiver. And then somebody people aren't talking about is Jacory Barney. I think people are going to find out about him this year. I compared him. He kind of reminds me of Devontae Smith, the way he runs. I remember being in the car last year talking about him last year. Like people need to watch out for him he was a true freshman, just like real last year. This guy's gonna be legit. Him and Raiola are gonna lead that school, and they're gonna go down as one of the best duels that ever come out of that program. Between quarterback and receiver, if not the best. I think they're really good. I think with Key, Barney, and then that Emma Johnson. Then you go address the O line. You bring back your big center. Then you go get a right guard from Notre Dame, Rocco Spindler. Then you get the big right tackle from Alabama, Elijah Pritchett. The offensive line is going to be really good. Matt Rule wants a mash. Reminds me a lot of like Sark, where it's like where he's going to be balanced. He's going to throw it, but he's going to run it, and he understands he has to play defense too. This isn't Lincoln Riley. I mean, he understands he's a top five quarterback, but he also understands like he has to play comedy football to win games. That's what he's going to do. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I like what they got. Riley Van Poppel, their big D tackle. He was good. Ty Robinson was underrated last year. Eagles got a steal in him. I was a big fan of that draft pick for Philadelphia. But their big thing's gonna be on the edge. You lose Prince Well, Umi Mellon's brother. You lose Prince Lee, Umi Mellon's brother. Prince Well. He goes from Nebraska to Ole Miss, where his brother just got done playing and dominating at. And then you lose James Williams to Florida State. So two big losses off the edge. I really honestly sucks for Nebraska because they had those two dudes back plus Williams Naraniri, or even if they never got Williams Naraniri and had those two dudes back, they would have been really looking good. But they're gonna need a guy like Williams Naraniri or somebody to step up off the edge, and give them some edge pass rush defensively, and then that I think look at that secondary with Hartzog and Sierra Wright and those guys. I think it's gonna be really good. I think it's gonna be really one of the better. I think it'll be a top. I think at worst it should be a top 25 defense. It's not higher. And they're gonna have an offense that should be top. This should be a top 15, top 10 offense. Really, honestly, with Holgerson. Like you say, he's making throws they've never seen before. I think if they can hold up in pass pro, I know Pritchett can get a run game. I know Spindler can move. They those guys. Pritchett can definitely get a push in the run game. Pritchett's thing's gonna be holding up, and you got to be able to hold up at tackle, especially in the Big Ten. You got to be able to block off those edge rushers, the big premier edge rushers. So I'm hoping they can refine Pritchett in that way. But this is a game I'm looking at Nebraska. They need to go out there and dominate. This is a game where if you're going to be a playoff team, as a team you should dominate. Cincinnati's really, they have a really good quarterback, Brendan Sorsby, who I think if he enters the portal next year, which I think he should, if it doesn't go well in Cincinnati, I think he'd be a one or two, probably $3 million quarterback in the portal. Better than a lot of dudes. I think he's better than the kid at Miami right now, Carson Beck. Better than the kid at Oklahoma, Mateer. I think he's better than a lot of dudes. He's just kind of hidden on a really not talked about Cincinnati team. For Cincinnati, I just don't really see them having a way to success for this game. They lost one of their best receiver to Tony Johnson to Miami. I just don't know what they're gonna replace with him. Like what they're gonna do to replace him. But I will say the two guys I look at Cincinnati that I just want to that I look at in two different lights. I look at Brennan Sorsby as a guy that next year could he be in the portal and is that's a guy teams should really be after. That guy has a lot of talent. He just needs to be in the right team that can win and has a coach that can develop him and put the right places around it because the kid can throw the ball, he could play. And then you got to look at Dante Corleone, guy I'm looking at for come NFL draft season. It will be a first, second, third round guy at interior D line. Had a heart problem last year. He got that fixed up now. I think he'll come out and dominate this year. I just don't know if Cincinnati has enough around them. I will say Cincinnati does win. It's going to be a lot of guys we just don't know about right now because they're just a very unknown team. But those two I'm looking at in two different lights, but two dudes I'm looking at in the future to go on elsewhere and be successful on different teams, NFL draft or portal. But I think this is a game Nebraska should win handily. I don't really think it should be close. I think this is I think Nebraska. I like to have them in the playoffs, and I think Raiola should be a Heisman. I look, man, it's gonna be hard. You know, this is a really people don't understand now. The 2027 quarterback draft class is gonna be loaded, but I don't know. Remember last time there's been this many good quarterbacks in college football between Lenore Sellers, Sam Leavitt, Arch Manning, DJ Lagway, K. Klubnik, Dylan Raiola, Demond Williams at Washington. There's a lot of good dudes. Bryce Underwood was just going to get started. I think he's going to be really good in the back end of the season. He's going to be a guy. I don't remember last time there's been this many good quarterbacks in 1 year. Rocco Becht at Iowa State just throws dots. He reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson. A lot of good quarterbacks. A lot of guys that I think a lot of people are going to be high on, whether it's this draft class or in 2027. It's going to be hard to be a Heisman finalist right now with the amount of good quarterbacks they are, but I definitely do think this guy should be in the top 10 high. When they release the top 10, he should be in it. He should be in the running because he's that good, and I think they put enough good pieces around him to succeed. So I think this would be a blog game for Nebraska. But Nebraska should kind of show like, hey, we're going to be a team that makes the playoffs, and Matt Rhule's going to revive that program. And when they start winning at a high level, they're really like they're recruiting now. But when they start winning, they're really gonna start recruiting, and then he's gonna start getting the 5-star guys, the high 4 stars, the top portal guys that he really wants, the top high school kids. They're gonna start getting top. It's gonna be crazy to say, but Nebraska, I'm telling you, this guy's gonna get top 10 recruiting classes if he can start winning, and I think he will. Even top 5, honestly. They're gonna have the NIL backing. Nebraska has like the longest streak ever. No one's really gonna ever gonna touch it for like sold out home games. So I mean, you don't like recruits know that the fans are going to be there. It's going to be one of the best. They're one of the best places to play. I mean, just go watch the Colorado game last year. It was an environment, right? They wrecked Shador and them, and now it had a big part to do with the crowd. So, yeah, I think this is I think Matt Rhule and Nebraska will be a new powerhouse. They're making. I almost like it's right on ironic that them and Texas are kind of coming back because they were both up back in the early 2000s. They both went down, and like they're both kind of coming up at the same time. But I think just like Texas, they're going to make the revival back to the top team in college football, a top 10 team perennial. So yeah.